Now we will look into a very, very important concept in DBMS called table creation. How do you create a table in DBMS? Okay. Now, as you all know, a table is a collection of rows and columns. Okay. You can have many rows, you can have many columns, you have a concept called attributes and so on. Okay. Now, the basic thing when you need to know about a table is you should be knowing about something called attribute. Attribute, data type, and constraint. Okay. So these are the three things. I suggest all of you mute. Manu also can mute. Just when I ask you something, unmute. Okay. So these are the three things, very basic, we have in tables: attribute, data type, and constraint. So, let's try creating a table called student. Okay. Now we will try creating a table called student. Okay. Now let's start with Manu. Manu, tell me, when you think of student, what all attributes can a student have?
Student ID,
Okay. A
student
student
name,
can have something called a student ID. Then what else?
student name,
Okay, you can have something called a student name. Then anything else? A student
course,
can have, okay, you can have something called the course. Then anything else?
email ID,
Okay, student can have an email ID. Okay, then what else? He can
mobile
have an
number,
age. Okay,
age.
let's stop over here. Will not go too long, otherwise things might be difficult for you. Okay, we'll just stop over here. For the time being, we'll not go for email ID. Let's go for something like, okay, city. Email ID, we'll learn it later. Okay. So you can have a student ID, student name, course, city, and age. Now you cannot have spaces. I'll go underscore student ID. I'll have student name. I'll have course, city, and age. Now, whenever you design a table, you should have a concept called a primary key. You should have a concept called primary key. It is compulsory inside a table. Now, as you've already learned, primary key is a key or an attribute which uniquely identifies a record. Now, tell me, in this particular table, which attribute can uniquely identify? That means, it will not repeat for anybody. It will not repeat for any student.
Student ID.
Okay, you can have student ID as the primary key. Now, you even have a concept called foreign key. That also you have learned. But foreign key, it is not compulsory. You need not have it always in your table. It is optional. But if you want to connect two tables, you need foreign key. So as of now, let's not have a foreign key. We'll just have a primary key. Okay. Now, student ID, you have decided it to be a primary key. Okay. Now you've even learned data types. So what can the data type of a student be? It can be varchar ID. Name also will be varchar. Hope you have learned all that. This will be a variable character. Varchar is nothing but a variable character. Okay, varchar 2. City, that also can be of the data type varchar 2. And age, of course, age can be a number. Age can only be a number. So these are the data types of all these. So when you are planning to design a table, this kind of a notation you should be able to build up. Okay, the attribute, the data type, and the constraint. You can even have size. Let's say ID can have a size of 5. Name will be a bit more longer. Let's go for 10. Course, let's say 4 would do. City, let's say an 8 would do. Age, let's say a 4 would do. 4 is too much, but anyway, this is the primary key. Now you have set up primary key. As I told you, foreign key, when you have only one table, you did not think about a foreign key. Only when you need to connect two tables, you need foreign key. Now, what do you mean by not null? What do you mean by not null?
That is cannot be zero.
Cannot
It's
be
null.
empty. So I can say, no, this cannot be null. Course also, it cannot be null. City, of course, it cannot be null. Age also, it cannot be null. Usually, almost every field is not null. Okay, and now you even have something called default. What do you mean by default?
Default value.
A default value. In case you do not enter a value or you forget to enter a value, it is default. Okay, let's say you are talking about course. You are talking about course, and let's say default is MSc. In case you do not enter anything, you have a default course called MSc. Okay, now what do you mean by check? What do you mean by the word check? Check means it is a constraint. You are
Condition.
for a condition. Okay, let's say I check over here, age should be greater than 18. The student age should be greater than 18. Okay, so now what are we planning to do? We are planning to design a table which you yourself told me these are the particular values and all that. Okay, so now let's see the command which you will be creating a table. Create is a keyword. You are creating a table, so you write create table. What is the table name? You have decided that the table name will be a table name called student. Create table student, open a bracket, close a bracket, and end it up with a semicolon. And now we will write things inside. Okay, we'll have to write each and every field. So what is the first field? The first field is student ID. The first field is student ID. What is the type of it? Varchar 2. I am giving the size of 5. Okay.
Ma'am, unique vitoi.
Now unique, I'll come to that later. We'll just finish out this. Okay. And what is the constraint I'm giving over here? I'm giving it a constraint like primary, space are different. These are the three kind of data types which can be supported when you are doing these strings. Okay, all these are used to store character. The different car is the basic, then you have varchar, and then you have varchar 2. Varchar is used for variable length. It is used for variable length alphanumeric. Both numbers and characters can be stored in varchar. But character, it is fixed length. It is fixed length alphanumeric. Hope you're getting the difference. This is fixed length. This is variable length. Okay, like for example, if you're giving student ID character, okay, let's say I'm giving character 60. 60 spaces will be reserved for student, and you might not be using all the 60. Okay, but varchar 2, as and per your requirement, things it is much more flexible. Varchar is much more flexible than character. Varchar, it can store up till 4,000. It can store up till 4,000 characters. Okay, now there is a difference even between this. Also is variable length alphanumeric. Control C, Control V. Varchar 2 is also variable length. Variable length alphanumeric. The only thing is back over here, primary key. Now, when you write primary key, please have a space in between. This will give you an error. this will give you an error. So have a space between primary and key. Okay, so that was the only thing over there. Primary key, end it up with a comma, end it up with a comma, hit the enter, and the next one is what? Student name. I'll just copy paste, Control C, Control V. Okay, I'll delete this away. Seeing that table will be difficult. Okay, student name, what is it? Varchar 2. I have a constraint called not null. When you write not null also, please have a space in between not and null. Hit and enter. The next line, what do you have? You have course. Again, Varchar 2, 10. Do you have anything? You have a not null. You have a not null. You even have default. You have a default. What is the default you're planning to give? MSc. Okay, I'll have MSc. Okay, I have a default called MSc. Then what? I do have a city. City, again, I have a Varchar. I have not null. Okay, then what do I have? I do have age. Age is what? Age is a number. Okay, let's say I give a number of 4. Okay, it is not null. It is not null. And I have to check. I've given a check. Age should be greater than 18. So whatever you have given over here, whatever you have given it over here, check age is greater than 18. Check age is greater than 18. So I've given a constraint over there. I have given a constraint over there. So now I have created a very basic table according to the design I have. I have student ID Varchar 25. It is a primary key. Student underscore name. You cannot have space over here. You will get an error. Either have it together or give an underscore. Student underscore name Varchar 2, not null, default MSc. City Varchar 2. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this. And then I'll go back to my SQL Plus. I'll clear my screen. And I'll paste it over there. Okay. So my not null default together isn't working. So I'll just take away my not null. Okay. When you copy paste Control C, Control V, if it isn't working, just right click in your SQL Plus. Okay. My quote, I had a problem. Look there. That is not recognized in SQL. Only this quote is recognized in SQL. I'm having a problem over there, that quote over there. Okay, see here itself, it became a problem.
Ma'am, quote at work.
Okay, I'll just copy paste. I typed a different quote, that is why. I'll just copy paste. Okay, create table student. I already had a table student. That is what I'm telling. Name is already used by an existing student. So I'll delete off what I had earlier. Or what I can do is I can have another table called student details. Okay, I already have a table called student. That is why I'm having a problem creating that table. I'll clear my screen. Okay, my table is created. Okay, now I've created a table. Both quotes should be closing quotes. Both quotes, if you're typing it in Word, have both as closing quotes, and then the remaining. I couldn't create a table called student because, you know, somehow I did have a table earlier called student. Let me describe my table. Describe student details. Okay, you will be getting this kind of a structure, this kind of a table structure. Even your SQL will show you. Student ID, my constraints are happening over here. By default, my primary key will be not null. All my data types, everything will be there. Default will not be shown. Default will not be shown. Only your not nulls will be shown. So this is how you basically create a table in Oracle using SQL plus. Okay, so now what we have done is all of us have created a student table. Please see that all the things, all the queries which you write, you have a copy of it in your Word or Notepad. Okay, because copying it from your SQL onto your Notepad will not, the format will be a bit problematic. So always type over here and then only paste over there in your SQL plus. Okay, please follow that, otherwise you will find it very, very difficult. Now, anyway, I do have a table called student details and all that. Now, have you noticed student ID is something like your roll number, right? You will have something like all of you have a roll number like MCA 101, isn't it? It starts with something called MCA1, MCA. The next roll number will be MCA 102, and the next will be MCA 103 and all that. Okay. So when you enter your student ID, you should have something like MCA in the beginning. Agreed? For everybody, it should also be there. For everybody also, it should be there. There should be something called MCA. You can set such kind of a constraint. This also comes under the category called constraint. You can set it in your check constraint. Okay. Now check constraint, we did see arithmetic. Okay. How to set an arithmetic. It can be less than, it can be greater than, it can be equal to, or it can be not equal to. It can be not equal to. We saw that over here. Okay. Age, only age 81. Okay. Anybody other than 81. Okay. Anybody less than 81. All that can be done. Anyway, we have given age greater than 18. Now, I want even a constraint like this. The beginning should be something like MCA. Or let's go very simple. Okay. The beginning should be a letter called R. Let's say tragedy. The beginning, you should have something called R. Now, for that, you have a check constraint called like, L-I-K-E. You can write your table like this. Primary key, okay? Like is a check constraint. Like is a check constraint, okay? So I write over here, primary key, check. Primary key, check. And now, just like I wrote over here, age greater than 18, age greater than 18, I will write even in bracket, student ID. It is not arithmetic. It is not arithmetic. I'll write student ID like. It should look like. It should look like. Okay, that is the key. Like is a keyword. It should look like. Okay, like what? Inside a bracket again. No, this is a varchar, so I will give it in my quotes. I will be giving it in my quotes. What should it start with? R. It should start with R. After that, anything. After that, whatever. Okay, it should start with R. That is the only constraint which I'm giving. It should start with R. The remaining can be anything. It's not star. Usually you use star, but in SQL it is percentage. It is percentage. Okay, so this is how you give a like constraint. Like check. Like check. Like check. Hope you understood it. It means that student ID, it will be the primary key. All the student ID, it should start with a capital letter called R. Remaining, I'm not bothered. Remaining, let it be whatever. So, I'll add it up in that particular table. Now, adding it up in that table will not be that easy. So what we can do is, we will learn a new command. Okay. Now you already have a command called, sorry, you already have a table called student details. Okay. I do have a table called student details. Now I'm planning to make it better. So for that, all what I should do is drop away the earlier created table. Okay, so you're learning a new table, new command called drop. Drop means delete away the content of the table and even delete away the structure of the table. Okay, so they're telling me dropped. Now I've deleted away that table. Now let me try my desk command. They're telling me it does not exist. So now I've deleted away that particular table. You can very much alter it. Now we will learn about drop. You created a table, then you deleted it away your table. Alter, we will learn it later. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just copy paste it. I'll copy it and then I'll clear screen. I'll paste it again. Okay, the table is created. Okay, I created a new table which even have a constraint like everything should start with R. Student ID, everything should start with R. Okay, so now we are done with our table creation. The table is created, all that is fine. Now, once you create a table, after you've created a table, you need to now enter data into the table, isn't it? You need to do a data entry into the table. Now, to do data entry into the table, you will be using a query called insert. Insert into table name. What is your table name? Student details. Spelling should be correct. Insert into. Insert is a keyword. Into is a keyword. Student details is your table name. Student details is your table name. Values. You are to insert values. Okay. Insert into values. Okay. Now, whenever you insert values, I'll just copy this down. Okay. You should be very careful when you insert values into a table. It should be in conformance to your data type. Look here, which is the data type over here? Varchar. So wherever you have varchar, you should have it in single quotes. Okay, the first one is varchar, the second one is varchar, the third one is varchar, the fourth one is varchar, and the fifth one is a number. And the fifth one is a number. Okay, so I'll now insert things. R101. Then I have the student name. Okay, I have the student name. I'll write Manu. Okay, inside the quote, course. Okay, I'll write MSc, city. I'll write Kochi and then finish it off. I'll copy this, Control C. I'll go back to my SQL plus. I couldn't copy it correctly. Okay. The string wasn't terminated properly. Okay, my quotes went wrong. I'll have to work on my quotes. Okay. If you type it in Notepad, it will be much more. This quote should be there everywhere. Control C. Where did I have that problem in my quotes? Just R101. Getting that correct quote is a problem. One row has been inserted. R101, Manu, MSc, Kochi, 21. Okay. Now I'll insert my second row. Okay. Insert again into student details value. I'll insert, look here, R101, not Manu. Instead of Manu, I will give, let's say, Ben. I will give Ben. Instead of MCA, I'll give, sorry, MSc, I'll give age, let it be 20. Okay, I'll hit and enter. Okay, now again, I'm getting an error. My quote, that quote, again, I'm having a problem over there. R101, okay. Instead of Manu, I'll have Ben, okay. MCA, okay. Remaining, I'm not changing anything. Okay, now look here. I will get an error. I will get an error telling unique constraint violated. Now, can anybody tell me what is the problem over here? Why are they telling me unique constraint violated?
This primary key.
Primary key.
Yes.
Primary
Primary key.
Primary.
I've already entered Manu 101. R101 Manu, which means I cannot enter R101 Manu again. Okay. So instead, I'll give R102. It will not be a problem. Okay. So instead of Manu, I'll give R102. R102, it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, one more row created. So primary key, that is what is the importance of a primary key. You cannot enter it more than once. R101 can be entered only once. Now, if you want to see the content of my table, simply give select star from student details. Okay, now I've got two people, R101 Manu and R102 Ben. This is the simplest way in which you can enter values into your table. Now you can even enter values into a table using another format, another command. Insert into student details. Here you can give each and every field. Okay, student ID, comma, student ID, comma, student name, course, city, course, city, comma, age. Control the age values. Okay. I'll give it in different lines so that you're able to understand. So now what I've done is I've gone a much more complicated way. Anyway, I cannot give 101. I'll give 104. Okay. I can't give Manu. I'll give Abia. Abia, MSc 21. Okay. I suggest all of you mute. Okay. So now, instead of going the easier way, I have done enter into student details. I can list out each and every field. It should be in the correct order. It should be in the correct order in which you have created your table and then given the values. I'll just copy this and I'll paste it. I'll take my SQL plus. It looks too untidy. I'll clear it away. One row has been created. So this is the second way in which you can insert things into a table. You can either go the direct way, student details. The direct easy way, or you could go student details, put comma, comma, comma. The naming should be correct. The order should be correct. The naming should be correct. The order should be correct. Whichever is the order over here, the same corresponding parallel order will be taken over here. First, second, third, fourth, and so on. Okay. Now, you might all be wondering, we gave something called default MSC over here, no? How does that work? You will be wondering, how does it work? Default MSC means in case you are not entering a value, in case you are not entering a value, the value will be taken in as MSC. The value will be taken in as MSC. So when you are planning to enter a default value, this is how you do it. Control C, Control V. Okay, you need not enter over here. You need not enter anything over here. Okay, so R, not R104, it will be R105. I will enter Kavi. Okay, we were planning to do default. Now default, you need not give the course over here. Look here, here you give MSc, MCA and all that, no? You need not give anything over here. Here also you need not give. Okay, so enter into student details, all the field except course. Because if you don't give course, it is understood that Kavya will be MSc. We are not giving course for Kavya, but because default is MSc, it should take up MSc. Okay, so I'll take my SQL plus. I'll paste it over there. And okay, enter into R105. R105 is already over there. We'll do one thing. We'll go for R107. Okay, one row created. Okay, so let's see. Select star from student details. Okay. Oh, Kavya, I had already entered Kavya earlier. That is when the meeting got over. Okay. Now look here. Even without giving MSc for Kavya, the course for Kavya is entered as MSc. Okay, look into my query. I did not give Kavya MSc. Okay, so let's give another one so that we'll give another name. 9. I'll give Denia. I'll copy it, paste it. I'm not look here. I've not given course for Denia. I have not given course for Denia, but didn't copy. Okay, I didn't give course for Denia, but look here, Denia, the default value MSc was taken in. So that is how you enter values if you have a default field, a default constraint. We'll do one more, 111. Okay, let's say Milan. Let's say Milan is only 5 years old. Okay, and then I'm planning to make him join for MSc. Control C. Okay, I'll clear my screen. It looks quite untidy. I'll paste it. Okay, I'll get an error. It is violated. Check constraint violated. You will not be able to enter. There's no other error. Check constraint violated. You will not be able to enter Milan, 5 years old. Milan, only if the age is above 18, it can be entered into the table. I'll do a small change in the same thing. I'll just change it to 19 to be on the safer side. Control C, Alt Tab. It didn't get copied. Copy. Yeah, now Milan was able to enter. Okay, the same thing. I just made a change in the age. Milan is able to enter. Okay, 19. So because I've given a constraint for age, things only above 18 come in. because I've given a constraint for student ID R, only things which R can start. Okay, let's try giving something else. Instead of R, I give S, S111. Okay, let's see whether it will work. Didn't get copied, just a minute. Okay, again they're telling, check constraint violated. Because, I tried starting it with S. Okay, so we've seen many constraints, starting with a particular arithmetic greater than, less than, whatever, default. Okay,
I
so
mean,
these,
primary key auto increment